Boarding school Juliet takes place at Delia Academy Boarding School, where students come from two rivaling countries known as the Nation of Tua and Principality of West. This academy segregates its student body into two dormitories, which reflects their nationality, the black dogs housing those from Tua and the white cats housing those from the West. The story follows Romeo, the first-year leader of the black dog dormitory. Romeo has had an unrequited love for Juliet, the first-year leader of the white cat dormitory since childhood. Persia has always thought that Romeo and she had been opponents during childhood, middle school, and high school as well, but she never realized that he could be in love with her. There's a fight about to start between Romeo and Persia, and Scott, who's a teammate and also an admirer of Persia, says to her that he will protect her if Persia gives him permission. Hearing that, Romeo gets mad as he has actually been loving her and doesn't want her to be hurt by other guys. Besides, he is also jealous of other guys who want her attention. Persia can't understand Romeo's behavior. She's not aware of his feelings towards her, and she interprets everything negatively, thinking that Romeo always makes a fool of her. She does not like it and becomes aggressive and hostile towards Romeo. When Persia is walking back to the dormitory after the incident with the black dogs, Mero, who is a student of the black dogs, and his gang sneak up on her in the rose garden and attack her with pepper spray, suppressing and nearly assaulting her. Although she is rescued by Romeo, she is confused and thinks that she was attacked by Romeo. So Persia ends up running away crying. In the fog of her mind, she decides to invite Romeo to the fountain in the plaza alone to talk and discuss the matter. Romeo gets the letter of invitation from Persia and becomes excited. When they meet, she asks him why he saved her. She wants him to explain if it's because of pity. She hates it, as she is a kind of girl who fights stereotypes and always wants strength and power not to lose against men. She has her biggest goal ahead to change the stereotypes and revolutionize the world. Romeo was never aware of this. That is why during fights with her, he was always very gentle not to hurt her because he loved her secretly. Realizing the truth, Romeo agrees to duel her. It is a tough and emotional duel. With every strike of the sword, Romeo confesses that he loves her. In the beginning, Persia does not believe it, thinking that he's making a fool of her again, and keeps on fighting against him with more effort. But when Romeo tells her that, despite his roots, he's aiming to be on her side and help her out, she pushes him down and throws it in the fountain, agreeing to go out with him. Supposedly, of course, as love between the students of white cats and black dogs is forbidden. White cats and black dogs start fighting, which is one of everyday fights and a very common thing to happen between them. Every team has the purpose to prove that they are stronger and defeat the other team. Hasuki is fighting tooth and nail with them. She's one of the black dogs who is very dedicated to her team and will do everything for the sake of black dogs. She's in love with Romeo. During the fierce fight, Romeo realizes that he can't fight against her as he loves Persia and can't think of fighting her. In the middle of the fight, he kidnaps Persia and wants to spend some time with her. Persia can't understand this. She considers his actions stupid and dangerous. She doesn't want others to see them together. As they talk over this, Persia leaves him, acting as if she's offended. Some time later, despite the danger, Romeo climbs up her window to apologize for that and wants to give her a cross as a little gift. He's seen by one of the guys of white cats, Scott, and falls down. Black dogs, thinking it was Persia who threw him away from the window, want to protect their team at Romeo and keep their reputation high. So they beg Persia for revenge. At the same time, Romeo is being beaten and bullied by white dogs, which leads to an unfortunate thing. The cross that he wanted to give to Persia breaks. He gets extremely mad and destroys a statue which was standing near him. As he is too furious to calm down, he attacks his opponents and throws them away one after the other while rotating himself like a tornado, which was very impressive. As a punishment for what he has done, he is sent to the shore to pick grass. Persia, knowing that he is there, comes to him and invites him to row a boat. During rowing, Persia sees that the cross that Romeo wanted to give her is broken. Seeing him sorry for that, she gives him her own rosary, a precious possession of hers. There is a custom that the Westerns have. They give rosaries to the ones they love as a symbol of love. Romeo is very thankful. Soon they go to the confessional to discuss how they can arrange their meeting, as they really want to go on a date, but the risk of being seen is high. Moreover, the day of the quarterly outing to the town of Delia arrives. Persia dresses up like a black dog to fool people around and not be seen. When Persia is in her new outfit, people show too much attention to her. They get interested in her as she's very cute and girlish but wears a male uniform. Even Scott gets confused as he smells Lady Persia but ends up seeing a foolish black doggy passing the street. Romeo introduces her to others, saying that he is a relative of his, in middle school, and his name is Julio. All of this was arranged to have a nice and private date, but unfortunately, they end up not being alone and are followed by black dogs everywhere. Romeo had plans of dining in a restaurant with a view of the ocean with her, but it fails as all the tables there are reserved. Romeo gets nervous about not getting what he aimed for and wanted as the date day almost finished, but he could not fulfill his wishes about the perfect date. All of a sudden, he sees a zombie house and takes Persia there to seek some privacy with her and get rid of others. But Persia goes away, suffering from that awful day. Romeo is being attacked by one of the black dogs who had some unsolved problems with him. Romeo is being thrown into the water. He can't swim and is being bullied by that guy who enjoys putting the outsole of his shoe on Romeo and makes him suffer. Persia comes and saves him. Romeo thanks her, and Persia explains to him why she disappeared. It turns out she was feeling discomfort in those clothes she was wearing. She says that she is satisfied with the date they had because she thinks it is a way of getting to know each other better. The first Princess Char of West arrives at school. She knows about Persia and Romeo, as she has seen them. She has even taken a picture of them together. She makes terms for Romeo in order to be quiet. She wants him to be her hound. Romeo gets mad, but he does not have any other option as he wants to protect both Persia and their relationship. Either his love is in danger, or he obeys her. He can do anything for Persia's safety. Princess Char is very selfish and likes to dominate and make everyone her servants. Everything worsens as the princess makes him a doormat, dominating him the way she wants. Black dogs are confused about Romeo's behavior. They are getting mad at Romeo because he behaves himself badly, obeying that princess of white cats and destroying his reputation as a leader of black dogs. Hasuki is confused too. She is the one convincing the black dogs that there is something that makes Romeo behave like that. No matter what, Hasuki is always there to support Romeo. Persia is confused too. She rarely has normal time to mingle with her lover. As soon as Romeo meets her, the princess whistles, calling Romeo to fulfill her wishes. Romeo is not happy with the situation either. He is in search of the princess's weakness to blackmail her the way she does to him. Soon, he enters her room and finds a secret door behind the mirror, which leads into a collection of Persia's pictures that the princess had been collecting and hiding. It turns out she loves Persia. They have been friends since childhood, and during time, there evolved some feelings towards her. So she wanted to hinder Persia's relationship with Romeo. Not like Princess Char, Romeo is understanding and empathetic towards her. Black dotties are having a test of terms. Hasuki is on the watch, stricter than ever. Persia, dressed like a boy named Giulio, came here, and she was invited by Romeo. She gets surprised when she's seen by Hasuki like that. But Hasuki has an exact purpose as she is very team devoted, and she does not want any of her schoolmates to fail. She mainly does that for Romeo as she's in love with him secretly. Romeo, realizing Hasuki was the first one he made friends with, wants to be honest and fair with her about his secret relationship with Persia. He thinks she will understand him as she is his real friend. There, he comes to Hasuki and tells her everything. Hasuki gets shocked, sad, jealous, and mad at the same time. These emotions overcome her one by one. She sees that she has unrequited love towards him and how foolish she was, always waiting for him to love her back. Hasuki reminds him about Saku, according to which if a black dog falls in love with a black cat, it must be beheaded. Hasuki is dedicated to black dogs and can't accept Romeo. She chases him to punish him. Finally, after much running, Romeo decides to face her. Hasuki strikes him with a sword but remembers that he was her first friend during childhood, and she cannot hide the love that she has towards him. Persia and Kara were there, and they were watching all of this. All of a sudden, Persia falls from the hills into the flowing river. Romeo falls after her to save her, but unfortunately, he cannot swim. They manage to be saved, fortunately, and nothing bad happens. In the end, Hasuki explodes with all the emotions and accepts Romeo. She wants to stay friends with him. Romeo has been thinking that it is a must for Persia to cook something delicious for him. He tells Persia about that, considering it's been a while they are in a relationship, so the time has come. Persia is nervous. She's not that good at handling that. She burns the cookie she put in the oven. She is desperate but, of course, she tries to bring him something. Suddenly, Princess Char appears and confiscates the food, saying, "I've never tried food made by Persia." Romeo runs after her but invades his Princess Char throws the bento by mistake, and it flies away, falling on Scott's head. Persia appears, and Scott thinks that the bento is made for him as Persia is being too kind to him. Arriving there, Romeo kicks Scott, and he falls down. They start to fight, punching each other and labeling each other with offensive words. Persia is standing there, trying to convince them to stop, but in vain. Scott throws Romeo towards the tree, reminding Romeo about his past and how Persia saved him. Romeo becomes too furious to be stopped. He punches the tree, showing his anger, requesting Scott to give the bento back to him. The bento flies away again, and Romeo runs like the wind to get it. Unfortunately, it falls down in the stable and becomes a nice lunch for pigs. Seeing Romeo suffering, Persia confesses that the bento was made by the maid. She says that she is not good at cooking, and she burned the cookies and was ashamed to give those to him. Persia gives him the burned cookie she had made. Romeo pretends they were tasty, but he does not like the taste. Persia is not happy about that. There will be a sports festival soon between black dogs and white cats. Black dogs are being trained, which is all organized by Hasuki. Romeo doesn't feel like participating. Persia calls him to train together and motivates him to participate. Romeo gets super excited about training with Persia. He washes himself, takes care of his hygiene, and goes there. They practice the three-legged race together, touching each other and being that close to each other. Romeo gets motivated and inspired. Persia tells him that she is eager to win the MVP title. The competition begins. The first event is the tug of war. Black dogs are about to win, but Somali of white cats is a really powerful girl. She's the one who pulls the rope strongly in her team. Unfortunately, she's being praised by Abe, gets excited, and loses herself. Black dogs win. Abby is a narcissist, and Somali is a girl having super flexible and powerful abilities, but her weakness is Abe, as she's in love with him. Being the narcissist, Abby sets up his mind to win the competition and earn the MVP title. The second event is the athletic course. Maru runs and spills some spike trap on the bridge for Princess Char, but the latter is being carried on the chair. Maru tries to complain to the ref about that but in vain. White cats win. Those are followed by the three-legged race, the balloon popping race, and the 100-meter dash. The girls' 100-meter race is won by Persia, and the boys' 100-meter race is won by Romeo. The scores are even, so the winner will be chosen in the second half of the competition. The seventh event is the stick down, where Persia and Somali have the main role, but suddenly Somali steps on Persia's foot, which is too painful for Persia as there were spikes under Somali's shoe. The next event is the men and women mix relay. Scott and Romeo start the race, with Hasuki and Persia continuing it. At the end of the race, Persia falls down as her foot was hurt by Somali during the previous event. Somali was told by Abby to step on her foot. Abe is waging a faction war with Persia over the white cats. It turns out this was part of his scheme to cause Persia's faction to collapse all at once. Persia can't participate anymore because of the injury. The last event is the cavalry battle. It starts fiercely. Hasuki's unit makes the most impact, but all of a sudden, one of Hasuki's teammates' mind goes blank. Hasuki is being eliminated. Not only Hasuki, but all black dogs are being defeated one by one. They're sleeping because they drank water with a sleeping pill in it. It's a trap set by Abe. Persia was upstairs in a room, in tears and sad. Princess Char and Romeo are outside the room, supporting her. Before going back to the competition, Bastard Abe Persia comes dressed like Julio to motivate Romeo to win. Romeo Vic's inspired if he and Maru cooperate, they have the chance to win. Ombi's teammate falls down by an electroshocker used by one of the black dotties. Romeo calls Ab for a duel, he throws him into the stands with just one hand, the victory is theirs. But all of a sudden, Romeo calls Persia, saying their victory is fake without fighting against her. Romeo and Perseus start to fight each other, they push each other, both get tired but keep on fighting. Suddenly, Romeo touches her breasts, and from its softness, he loses himself and loses the match. Black dogs get mad and label him with the word pervert, so the MVP is Persia. Romeo is being bullied by everyone, he feels himself embarrassed, but Persia is by his side. After the competition, there is always a party held where there is a jinx that makes the MVP and their dance party a couple forever. Romeo is outside being punished for his foolish behavior as there are some stones put on his legs as a punishment. Persia comes to him and wants to spend time with him, telling him about the jinx and inviting him to dance. Romeo teaches her a tour dance. After some time, Romeo becomes ill. Hasuki is worried about him. Persia comes to see him. Romeo does not want her to see him that week, he pretends to be tough. Persia tells him that she did not know if he was ill, she just came because she wanted to see him. She finds an erotic magazine which was given to him by another fellow of black dogs. After finding out his love towards boobies, Romeo is embarrassed. He tries to explain, but Percy goes to bring him something to eat but gets lost as the school of black dogs is huge. She encounters Maru and is scared of him and his investigative questions. After strolling around the school, she comes to Romeo and spends a lovely and challenging time with him, both enjoying being next to her partner and being scared of being seen. There today is the Harvest Festival, which is across the lake from campus. Romeo and Persia discuss how to meet secretly. Romeo is under a bench, and when he gets up, he is being attacked by the two prefects who make him troubled. Romeo did not even know that they were prefects and reacts harshly to them. Hatsuki appears and asks him to be careful as they are prefects. The prefix is fact that Romeo hides a secret. They follow him during the festival. Romeo and Persia do their best to hide themselves in a barrel from those two prefects. They managed to do that as those two give up Fall and Romeo and find two people fighting. They need to prevent that as they are responsible for that. Romeo leaves Persia for a moment and goes to the prefects to play with them and make friends with them. The kids are happy now, and they leave Romeo alone. Romeo gets nervous because the fireworks start and he didn't manage to get to Persia, so that they watched the fireworks together. He gets there late hopelessly, thinking Percy is mad at him, but Persia's not. She's proud of him as he played with the kids and made them happy. Soon it's Percy's birthday, and Princess Char and Romeo are excited to give her gifts. Romeo is still followed by the prefects. They are stalking him, and he needs to be careful as wandering through the shops. Char and Romeo let the same fluffy cat as a gift, and they fight over who shall get it. Unfortunately, they rip that fluffy toy. Soon, Princess Char gets into trouble as a policeman sees her strolling around the streets, thinking that she skipped her lesson. The policeman tries to send her to the lesson strictly, but Char gets into her lovely charm, convinces him that she has an escort, which turns out to be Romeo dressed like white cats, who is mad at that time being stuck in that situation with a princess. To make things calmer, Char says that she knows what Percy wants and manipulates Romeo. It gets darker and starts to rain, but they are still wandering along the streets. At the same time, the prefects are still thinking about Romeo and the rosary which they have found in his room. But Arrow, who is Romeo's older brother and the rep of Black Doggies, comes to the prefects. Char and Romeo wait for the rain to stop. Char starts to enchant him, but in vain. She has the purpose to split Romeo and Persia up. Seeing that it is impossible, she leaves him and starts to think about her childhood and selfishness. Suddenly, she's being attacked by radicals. She protects herself by kicking one's face. Romeo comes and saves her. Char gets emotional, then she opens up about what Percy asked her to do on her birthday. She asked her to help her spend her birthday with Romeo. She fakes Romeo for being her escort and gives him a present. That's the bra she has bought. Romeo gets mad, but he gets an arrow with a message on it. Perch is waiting for him in the library. She invites him to his birthday, and as Romeo asks, she says that as a present, she wants a pear accessory. He becomes excited and comes back to his room where a big surprise is waiting for him. Erov surrounded by the prefixes. They're waiting for him. As Romeo gets to him, he asks where he was at that late hour. Agaru is the student rep. Romeo does not have good relations with him. He's holding the rosemary in his hand, asking Romeo where he got it from. Then he shows him that Brad Char had got. Again, asks a question about it. Romeo is being embarrassed. He does not know what to answer. He was not expecting that. Air reminds him about the treaty between the black dogs and white cats and rules of it. If it turns out he's in love with the girl of white cats, he would be a traitor. Romeo will be under surveillance for a week. If Era's doubts are alleviated, then he'll be set free. Percy managed to cook tasty cookies for Romeo. This time she's happy about that. In the meantime, Romeo is being escorted. He's being watched. He remembers that his brother had never been kind to him. Always strict. He was traumatized by his over-discipline and spanking. Finally, it's Percy's birthday. Romeo escapes from his room, thinking that he'll manage to go and celebrate Percy's birthday and come back within an hour. But Eru is still at the gates, watching him. Romeo starts to fight with him. Eru is flexible enough to avoid his punches. Romeo gets punched on the face, he falls down. He is not there yet to fight and win against his brother. Eru looks in, remembering the good old days. The prefects come to him, and he is being set free by the prefects who were convinced by him of his plan of escaping for 2 hours. They are eager to help him, but he's not okay. He's weaker now, losing his body's strength. He runs to get to Persia, but he can't. He's falling down on Percy's knees. Persh is there to stop him. She knows everything as Hatsuki has told her. Perseus starts to avoid him all because she realizes that her lover is in danger. Romeo chases her to talk, rejected by Persia. Romeo was stressed. He is ready to risk and see her lovely person, but persuades thinking rationally. Hatsuki is there to support Romeo. She supports him but can't get over her feelings towards him. At the same time, Percy suffers. It's her birthday, but she doesn't feel like it as she wants her lover to be by her side, which is impossible. In the meantime, the White Cats are preparing for Lady Perseus's birthday. Princess Char is there to support Persia. She brings to Romeo the birthday cookies Persia had made for him, inspiring him to join Perseus's birthday party. Romeo and Hatsuki plan to do Persia's birthday celebration in their own way as they used to do it. They get to their school, waiting for Persia to come to throw cakes at her face. Romeo tries to find Persia, but she's being locked by the rep on purpose to protect her. Romeo is encountered by the rep of White Cats, and they start to fight. The rep is stronger than he is. Realizing that, Romeo traps him easily and jumps out of the window. Then he's being held and taken inside through another balcony by Persia. They confess about their feelings and how worried they actually are. Persia realizes that instead of running away, she can be brave enough to face the trouble and overcome it with having Romeo next to her. The rep of Black Dotties comes to the party place. Romeo and Persia make a show as if they are fighting and throwing cakes at each other. The rep, realizing it is just a fake show, comes to Romeo and asks straight if that's Persia he's colluding with. Both Romeo and Persia get frozen for a moment. The students all around start to murmur. Percy opposes him and protects herself, asking if he has any proof of that. The rep mentions the Rosemary and Romeo's calendar where her birthday date is circled out. Persia considers them circumstantial. The rep shows the bra as well, saying that it's a match for Persia, and he's not mistaken. They both get embarrassed. They both are taken aside to explain themselves. Suddenly, Persia throws a sword to Romeo, inviting him for a duel. She says that her reputation is important to her. She acts in a very tough and determined way. Romeo is scared to hurt her in the beginning, but remembering Percy's words about being brave and not running away, he starts to act like one. They both show their best, and as a surprise to everyone, they hurt each other badly, pointing at the neck. Everyone's worried and scared. Most of the students consider their fight a very dangerous and foolish idea. That was too much. They are taken to a special hospital room where they lay next to each other. It turns out their plan worked very well, and as a result, they just broke their rosemaries but did not hurt themselves. None of them is hurt. They start to talk, and Romeo gives her a birthday present, matching rings. Percy is touched and excited. She wears the ring on her finger. Romeo tells her he wants to become a rep at the school and change its rules totally. He's fed up with the stereotypes there. Then Romeo goes to his older brother Eru to talk with him. His doubts are almost gone. Eru warned him never to act like that as it was too dangerous, as the reps of the two schools have been called by the headmasters of the schools and were warned never to let such a thing happen again. Romeo and Persia end up together, but they need to be careful. Romeo joins the prefixes to learn from them as he's